Carlos Nelson with Cascade Media Group, and tonight we've got a new announcement to make about a new addition to the Cascade Media Group family on the political side. Uh, he's going to be taking care of all our political needs that are affecting the Black community. He's going to be bringing on local politicians, national politicians, and in true Cascade Media fashion, he's going to be asking serious questions about our community and where our community is right now from an economic, educational, and social standpoint. That when you come on this show, you're going to be on the hot seat. And with no further ado, who do we have here?
We have Michael L. Johnson, Missouri State Representative of the 23rd District. I said Michael L. Johnson because I think the names are very important. And with me having such a common name, my friends do call me Mike. But for situations like this, when you are first introducing yourself on a platform or to other people, regardless of where they're at, it's good to know the names are important. So yes, it's Michael L. Johnson. And I would like to let everyone know that it is a privilege for me to be on Mr. Nelson's show today with Cascade Media. Thank you.
Mike, talk a little bit about what you feel that you're going to be discussing on your show. And tell our audience a little bit about who you are and where you come from.
All right. Well, once again, I'm Michael L. Johnson, born and bred Kansas City, Missouri. Anytime that I've lived within the state of Missouri, it's always been within the 23rd District. I've never lived outside of that district unless I stayed in a different state or abroad. I'm a veteran, Army veteran. I graduated from Northeast High School. I attended Philander Smith College in Little Rock, Arkansas. Go HBCUs. And I've always been embedded in my community in some shape, form, or fashion. I've always done community service without being tied to any political or community platform. So this is something that I've always done from my heart because it's just, I grew up around a bunch of people and were raised by people who were always giving back or attempting to give back in some shape, form, or fashion. So here I am. I love my community. I love my people. I love the state of Missouri, and I'm here for them. And that is the only reason that I'm here.
And you know what? I'm so glad that you made that clear, because Mr. Nelson a lot of time is misunderstood when I'm pointing out frailties or different things as it relates to our community. But I personally feel, and I have these deep conversations because I don't like having frivolous conversations,
right,
that unless we can, as a Black community, can talk to one another in a virtual, honest conversation, I don't think we can move further on any front, no matter what front that is.
Yeah, that's true, because I totally agree, because if you're not cutting to the chase, if you're not being a straight shooter, then where are we getting? What are we getting to? Then the conversation is a facade because it has no real substance at that point. So a lot of people may not be able to, I don't like to use the word handle because we're not cargo. So I don't want to use the word handle, but a lot of people don't like to face the truth. And some of the questions that you have presented over the years to people are questions of the truth. And a lot of times we receive some type of feedback for wanting to be honest and to be transparent and looking for that in return as well.
Let's talk about your show a little bit. What do you feel that how you're going to go about choosing who comes on, what subjects you decide to engage in, and where do you see short term our community needs to be moving, midterm and long term? I know that's a lot, but
Well, to answer the first part, we have to be able to deprogram in order to reprogram. We have so many different organizations here, in especially in Kansas City, to where over the years they've been pitted against one another. That as a whole they can't get anything done because they're too worried about looking over their shoulder. These organizations face the same problems that a troubled youth or a young teenager would if they're in situations where it's not healthy for them. So they have to look over their back. These organizations are looking over their back to see if another organization is coming up and getting money, and it may be money that they felt that they needed. What we need to do is simply this: come together, have group meetings, open dialogue, like you discussed, Mr. Nelson, at the forefront, and be able to help one another. If an organization receives some money, be it from the state, be it from the city, be it from the county or a private entity, what needs to happen is they need to speak to those other organizations and say, hey, I got some money, come over here and help us with this project. And we'll piggyback and do the same thing and be reciprocal when you receive the money as well. And I think that that'll help a lot as well. And then as far as us, short term, we don't have anything set up for our youth. What we do is there's not a youth trade and skill center. We have these different training facilities and trade centers, but they're not under one brick and mortar. Transportation has always been a problem with education. It is always, regardless, nationally, that's always been an issue. It's an issue here in the state of Missouri as well. We need a training facility under one brick and mortar, something the size of a Walmart, a Lowe's, a Home Depot, so that we can actually follow a curriculum, have the children there involved in the curriculum, graduate, get certified out of the program, and still be able to maintain possibly a job with that program if they're not ready to move on to college, or if they don't see college in their future, or they're ready to go out into the workforce readily able to hold down a serious job position with that has longevity to it and it has sustainability to it. So picture a group of young individuals living in a new development, a new housing development, brand new. They have great credit scores because they came out of school with the skill and the trade. So those that want to further college, first thing it'll do is it'll help them combat financial debt from going to school because they'll have a good skill and trade. Also, what it does is when you stay in a new development and you stay around these young families and they have they have children, they're going to a great school, they all have great credit, and they're at their homeowners association meeting. And there's a warehouse down the street, about a mile down, and one of the couples, have been looking at it on their way into the residential area, and they said, so today in the HOA meeting, they say, hey, since everybody's got good credit, our kids are going to great schools, they're getting a great education, let's buy that warehouse down the street. We got good credit. The bank we'll be able to obtain a loan for it. Let's purchase that building, and let's complete the mission of empowering our community.
But that's where leadership comes in.
Correct.
So
the leadership.
Go ahead. Huh? Go ahead. Sorry, to cut you off.
No problem. The leadership has to be on the same goal. The leadership has to, first of all, each and every individual, regardless if they have a hidden agenda or not, wants to see their family being successful. And in order to do that, to me, you have to make sure that everybody else has that same skill set. If you have a skill or a trade and you're not sharing it, Mr. Nelson, then you're wrong for not sharing that gift. Each one teach one. And if it takes a village, then you can't just raise a child and don't give them any skill sets, any trades, or anything that will be viable to them in life. So it's just like we're planting those seeds now in order to make sure that once we're no longer here, that our families in whole have generational wealth and can flourish.
Well, Cascade Media Group, we're embarking on a campaign, connectivity campaign, and I will be asking you to come into the office to do a promo. Mr. Jim Watts came in representing the Black Archives the other day, talking about the importance of connectivity. Because from my observation, the number one thing in our community before we can do anything, we have to connect. Once we are connected to a source of information that can be applied, that will give us some power. And I think that the power is really lies in the hands of the politicians, but the politicians lie in the hands of the businessmen and corporations. And we can't really fight that to a degree, but we talked off camera about your youth political activities. And I spoke about your Uncle Charles Hasley, that he was a giant of a man, and you spoke on buying a warehouse, the development that he lived in, first in the city, Kensington development for basically an all Black community that was built back in the early 80s that is thriving, and has expanded. Yes. These things are possible when we work together.
Correct.
And I think our conversations about how forthright you would be with this new show when dealing with the political issues, I'm over elated to know that you're going to be as candid as possible when you bring these guests on. And as in the past, you're really relieving me of a great burden, because in the past, the only thing I could tell them, I'm a gangster posing as a businessman, and I'm not up for all them political games that you're used to dealing with. And now I can get back to my sports and other things to, because I really feel confident that you're going to lead our community as it relates to political issues in the right direction.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. The right direction is, I mean, less is more, meaning that my agenda is less because my agenda is only for the people. That's it. I'm at an age, I tell you, Mr. Nelson, I'm almost 50, so I'm at an age where I'm not looking to obtain any trinkets or things of that nature along my journey. This is my journey. It's for my people. I simply love my people. That's it. It's cut and chase, and it's dry. That's it. If this takes me somewhere else, fine. But if it doesn't take me somewhere else where I'm still helping my people, then I don't want to go.
And at your age, and that's what drives me. People don't understand. My family didn't even understand. My daughter be like, "Daddy, don't you understand that don't nobody care?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm not nobody. I don't care how they feel."
Right.
And that, and all these trinkets and all these worldly things and what have you, I'm not chasing $1 at 70. You're not chasing all the things that you really wanted to do. If you really haven't done them financially to a degree, that's a loss deal.
Right. So at that point, are we living to work, or are we working to live?
All right. In closing, what would you have to say to our audience?
In closing, I would like to say that Kansas City is a beautiful place that can thrive again. I don't necessarily recall each and every of these monumental moments, but Kansas City thrived for blacks in the 60s, early 70s. And we always had, there's always been some type of turmoil, but to see us flourish and thrive and have home ownership and drive a nice car to take the family to church or to go shopping or out to dinner, we can see those things again. We can build this up, but what it takes is like-minded individuals. We have to get the nose out of the way. We have to deal with people that want the same thing for one another and don't have a hidden agenda, and realize that we can get things done right here in Kansas City. As much as I have to go to Jeff City to fight, and it is a fight, that doesn't mean that I can't build the relationships that are needed, Mr. Nelson, right here in Kansas City to make sure that the minorities here flourish just as well as the rest of the people here in Kansas City. It needs to be a even keel. And in order for us to get there, politicians do have to go and reach these businesses. And I've been doing it. I think that it's very, very important. And my Uncle Charles once told me, he said he knew two men that were millionaires. One man went out and took his idea and went right away and started doing his business. He flourished. And after 10 years, he was no longer a millionaire or in business. The other gentleman took his first 2 years before he started his business to build relationships. He's still in business. He's still a multimillionaire. So I want to build these relationships with the like-minded individuals that can get things done. Because if you go and you ask or beg for money at the state level and you don't get it, well, see, that's the thing. We have to change the narrative. I'm not going to beg you for anything. I'm going to go tell you what I've already done back home and what we're accomplishing, and telling you, you might want to hop on board before it's too late, because the train's coming up out the station and all my people going to be on it.
There we go. Ho, ho. My people are going to be on the train supporting whatever we're doing. That's the
right.
key.
That's it. That's it.
All right. It's a pleasure welcoming you to the Cascade Media family. And as we always say in closing, when you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Good night.
Program is brought to you by the Kansas City Business Association.